Hi, it's Sarah with MyNaturalBabyBirth.com. Today we're talking about the one thing above all else that you're going to want your birthing staff to know. Above and beyond everything else. The one thing that you want them to do, and I'll explain what it is and why. You can have your birth plan, you can discuss everything with your doctor or your midwife, your care provider. You can tour the hospital or the birthing center. You can have all your supplies ready if you're doing it at home. You can have your mother or husband or partner or whoever is there to help you, your doula or midwife. You can have them, you can go over everything with them and have every detail that you would prefer during your birth and a contingency plan, whatever. But at the end of the day, well, really, the end of the labor, right before the baby's born, you may come across circumstances where you weren't able to communicate your birthing plan. Your doctor isn't there because someone else is on call. Your midwife is giving birth to someone else across town. Your husband can't make it quickly from work. Or you have a different staff than you expected to be there. Or you forgot to print off your birthing plan, or you forgot it. Or your mind just goes blank because you're so focused on getting through your labor and delivery that communication of what you want may get lost through the cracks. And in my experience with my 3 births, 100% of my birthing plan was never fully communicated, just because of the circumstances. Sometimes some things ended up not being important in the moment. Other times it was completely different people. So you never know. Once you get there, you never know exactly what is going to play out. So I want you to remember this one thing, this one essential thing that I would highly encourage you to be the utmost priority of all of the things that you desire for your labor, delivery, and birth for you and your baby. And that one thing is to not clamp the baby's cord. To not clamp the baby's cord until all of the blood flow has gone through from you to the baby. So why is this important? Because most doctors or some staff, as soon as the baby's out, they clamp, cut because they want to start cleaning up. They're on a tight schedule. They're just going through the norm of procedures. Everything seems fine, so they just move forward. I don't believe every birthing staff individual has ill intention. But what happens is, for the first 5 minutes or so after the baby's born, before the afterbirth arrives, all of the blood in your placenta is getting squeezed out and pushed through the umbilical cord back to your baby. 1/3 of your baby's blood is still inside of the cord and your placenta, because it was constantly running through that filtration system while they were inside of you. But once they're born, all of that blood is pushed back to the baby. That's why when a baby's born, the cord is thick like a sausage, and you can see the arteries and veins running through it they're thick, and it's squishy and taut, and if you cut it, it's gonna bleed instantly because it's full of blood. But when you wait a few minutes, all of that blood, for the most part, has gone back into the baby, and the cord is no longer thick. It's flabby and flat. It's not bluish or red or purple because it's full of blood. It's more of a yellow skin color, and honestly kind of reminds me of when a snake has shed its skin, because it's just skin. It looks like just empty tissue, and that is how you know when the blood has gone all the way back into the baby. Now, this is important to let this happen because honestly, think about it. If your baby is born without a third of its blood, what do you think can come from that? Research shows that babies born before their cord is clamped too early, they have a harder time developing a healthy immune system because most of the antibodies they receive from you are in that blood. And if they don't have a third of it, their immune system is weaker. They don't have enough oxygen or hemoglobin or nutrients in their blood cells and in the bloodstream to feed them effectively the first few days of life. Because the first few days of life, your baby's sleeping, hardly ever nursing, until their body and all of their organs start kicking into gear and start working and start circulating everything on its own after they're born. Because while they're in you, your body is supporting all of their circulation and all of their nutrients, making sure they get what they need. And then once they're born, there's a shift that happens and their body has to start learning how to do it all on its own. But if they're missing a third of their blood, they're more likely, studies show, to have anemia or a blood problem or a nutrient absorption problem because they don't have as much of their own blood and nutrients in their body. Now, of course, it's not terribly high risk. There are cases where a baby needs to be born as fast as possible because there's some sort of complication and they need to be taken maybe to have an additional surgery or additional work, and cutting that cord is vital to save their life before all of it has drained from the mother to the baby. And of course, in those circumstances, work with your doctor and trust and know that your baby will still be okay. But if you find that, your labor and delivery goes smooth, there's no risk to the baby, their APGAR score as soon as they're born is good, they have good color, they cry, ensure that the umbilical cord is not clamped and cut before the blood and pulse is completely gone from the cord. You're giving your baby what is already theirs. The most nutrients, the antibodies, everything that came from your bloodstream that went into their bloodstream. It's giving it back to them. So when I was in labor with my third baby, my third son, it was a very fast labor. I was crowning when I walked into the delivery room. I crawled up on the table and pushed him out. It was literally that quick. I had no time or desire to communicate all of my intentions with my birthing plan, but I did like the one thing I said, because when I was in there, I was just in the zone. I was relaxing and allowing. Then one nurse told me one thing. She's like, I need you to get on the table, and I told her to wait because I knew I needed to wait. Like I said, that was it, and then I crawled up on it and I said, okay, push the baby was out. So that's all that was communicated. So I'm like, okay, this staff doesn't know what I want. So as soon as he was born, I said 2 or 3 times, loud and clear, I said, don't clamp his cord. Don't clamp his cord. I wasn't mean about it, but I was on my hands and knees facing away from it, and I wanted them to ensure that they heard me, because that's the only thing I could communicate. And they're like, don't worry, honey, we're not clamping his cord. So then I turned over, then I could see him, and everything was fine. And I waited a long time before they cut the cord to make sure he got all of his blood in him. But I would highly encourage you, if you forget everything about what you want during your birthing plan, please remember this one thing that is most vital for your baby, is to not have their cord clamped. A lot of moms will have a birth where where they don't even separate the baby from the placenta. They don't even cut the cord until the afterbirth is born. You can look up pictures of a baby that still has the cord and it's connected to the placenta, and it's really actually beautiful pictures that I've seen. And so you can do that if you like. You could request, I don't want the baby's cord cut until the afterbirth. Because then they are technically separated from you after the afterbirth comes, the placenta is born. And then obviously there's no extra blood flow happening because your body let go of the placenta. But either way, I would highly encourage that. It's a great, it increases the health and livelihood of your baby just by a few minutes. You just have to wait a few minutes until that blood has flowed back. If you want to know exactly how you can decrease the risk of other complications during your labor and delivery, check out my ebook. It's at mynaturalbabybirth.com/ebook. Everything in there is all that you need to know to defeat the 3 enemies of your natural birth. And you don't even have to be having a natural birth. This is for every pregnant mom. You're gonna have a calmer delivery, more relaxed experience, a happy, enjoyable one with less pain, less risk of issues and problems if you do some simple things to prepare your mind, heart, and body that anyone can do. And I walk through it step by step. You can get yourself a copy. It's called Relaxation Through Childbirth. How to Relax Through Childbirth. 3 simple ways to ease tension and enhance joy. Go to mynaturalbabybirth.com/relax or /ebook. mynaturalbabybirth.com/ebook and get yourself a copy. Do those things and you will have a much better experience, guaranteed. Love you all. See you in the next video.